The last week, we have had to take the painful but necessary decision to revise the producer price of cocoa to achieve competitive pricing and resolve the acute liquidity challenges in the sector. Mr. Speaker, failure to do this as others did and left a debt of 32 billion for this government to pay. Failure to do this would have meant borrowing billions in borrowed funds. Mr. Speaker, this unplanned expenditure would have taken us right back to the very devastating economic problem we have only recently begun to escape. So, Mr. Speaker, while fully understanding the concerns and protests of our farmers, I can firmly assure them that the reforms announced by government will see a total transformation of the cocoa sector. And it will guarantee them a fair and transparent price that enables them to meet the cost of producing the commodity and making decent margins. Mr. Speaker, the difference between economic hardship and avoiding the same is the exercise of sound economic judgment. And I'm determined to take decisions that ensure our collective well-being and avoid the suffering of all our citizens. These are difficult decisions to take, but Mr. Speaker, I had to take them. Mr. Speaker, we are bringing legislation to this House to tighten our procurement processes by banning sole source contracts, except in exceptional circumstances. We will also bring legislation to this House to make it mandatory to seek Parliament's prior approval before any government asset or property is leased out or sold. This includes lands and state enterprises. Mr. Speaker, last Tuesday, I caused the Minister of Finance to lay before this House the Value for Money Office Bill. This is a landmark measure, a fulfillment of yet another campaign promise to the good people of Ghana. And this is designed to decisively end waste, inflated contracts, abandoned projects, and chronic cost overruns that have for far too long drained the public purse. All these measures are intended to improve public trust and accountability. Mr. Speaker, in January 2025, we inherited an energy sector on the brink of collapse that had been precipitated by a severe financial crisis. The sector was burdened with a staggering debt of 80 billion Ghana cedis, strengthening the operational viability of key power producers. The 500 million World Bank partial risk guarantee, a critical risk mitigation instrument that was established in 2015 during my first term to safeguard the nearly 8 billion of private sector investment that was put into the offshore Cape Trade Points field, had been fully drawn down and exhausted due to prolonged non-payment for gas consumed. Mr. Speaker, at the distribution level, the Electricity Company of Ghana was plagued by high commercial and technical losses, collecting only 62% of the energy it purchased from generators and declaring less than 50% of its collection into the cash waterfall mechanism. Mr. Speaker, the result was severe liquidity shortfalls and power challenges throughout 2024. In the petroleum sector, years of policy inconsistency, regulatory inefficiencies, a lack of transparency, prolonged licensing processes, and unresolved legal disputes over field unitization had eroded investor confidence. Consequently, crude oil production declined by approximately 32% between 2019 and 2024. It fell from 71.4 million barrels per day to 48.2 million barrels. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to announce that as of December 31st, 2025, government has fully repaid and restored the entire 500 million World Bank guarantee, including interest. This has reinstated the facility in full and reaffirmed Ghana's standing as a credible and reliable partner on the global stage. Mr. Speaker, I can also announce that we are paying for every gas we are consuming today. In addition, between January and December 2025, through carefully coordinated policy actions, the government settled all outstanding gas invoices that were owed to ENI and Vitol, amounting to approximately $500 million. And so Ghana is now fully up to date with its gas consumption obligations to the Sankofa partners. And I'm pleased to announce that the 2026 budget has made adequate provision to ensure timely payments for all liquid natural gas that we consume going forward. Mr. Speaker, to ensure equity and fairness, the government has also held constructive engagements with Tullow Oil and the Jubilee Field partners, and we've reached a comprehensive roadmap to guarantee full payment for all gas that is consumed. This approach supports reliable nationwide electricity generation and accelerates industrial growth. Engagement with upstream partners has resulted in increased gas production, guided by a clear national vision to rapidly scale up domestic gas supply and reduce reliance on expensive liquid fuels. Mr. Speaker, beyond clearing inherited arrears, a robust framework has also been established to strengthen monitor implementation of the cash waterfall mechanism. Another major milestone was the operationalization of the ECG's single holding account, which is overseen jointly by the Ministry of Energy and Green Transitions and the PURC. This intervention has significantly reduced revenue leakages, and it has enhanced ECG's capacity to meet its payment obligations. Cost of power, the government has successfully renegotiated existing power purchase agreements. Engagement with the 9 independent power producers have resulted in a 250 million immediate savings and 1.1 billion of legacy debt restructured for payments between the period 2026 and 2028. These revised agreements will be submitted to Cabinet, and I'm pleased to inform you, Mr. Speaker, will be brought here to Parliament for ratification. Mr. Speaker, under the Rural Electrification Program, 200 out of the 400 targeted communities have been connected to the national grid, with a further 100 at various stages of completion. The national electricity access for Ghana today stands at 89.05. We are committed to ensuring that every Ghanaian has access to reliable, affordable electricity. It is worrying that the Electricity Company of Ghana continues to experience high power losses, with reports indicating that around 25% of generated power is lost. To address this phenomenon and anchor the gains we have made, adopting private sector participation, particularly in billing and collection, is the most effective way to significantly reduce these losses. Cabinet has approved the multiple lease method for concessions in the distribution utilities, and work is ongoing to implement this critical reform. Mr. Speaker, the Bui Power Authority has completed an additional 50 megawatts of solar power. In the distributed solar sector, 30 megawatts was achieved through rooftop installations, bringing our total installed capacity to 250 megawatts of solar, and this represents 5% of renewable energy in our entire generation mix. A few months ago, I broke ground for a 200 megawatt solar power project at the Dawa Industrial Zone, with the first 100 megawatts scheduled for completion in December 2026. The Ministry of Energy and Green Transitions is constructing 35 mini-grids to serve 47 islands and lakeside communities in the Oti, Savannah, and Bono East regions. The ministry will also supply 12,000 new smart net meters from the end of the first quarter of this year, 2026. And under the off-grid solar home system for public institutions, delivery of materials for the first phase of 350 systems has commenced. It means that public institutions are going to be fitted with solar to reduce their power consumption. Mr. Speaker, as part of the last mile electrification effort to achieve 99.98% universal access by 2030, the ministry has mainstreamed mini-grids into the National Electrification Scheme. Consequently, a feasibility study for the Afram Plains North District was completed for 100 communities to receive solar power, bringing the total number of islands and lakeside communities in the Afram Plains North and South to 150 that are ready for mini-grid solar electrification. I'm pleased to announce that the African Development Bank has committed to providing $100 million to fund the construction of renewable energy-based mini-grids for these communities. Mr. Speaker, we've signed a memorandum of understanding with the Jubilee and Tenfield partners to commit another $2 billion to additional investment in the Jubilee field. This will include drilling up to 20 new wells, the first wells being drilled in more than 9 years. Mr. Speaker, there's a second memorandum of intent with the OCTP partners, that's ENI and Vitol, to commit $1.5 billion of additional investment in the OCTP field in the Cape Tree Points Block 4 contract area, among others. This agreement will significantly increase Ghana's oil and gas production, thereby enhancing energy security, domestic demand, and infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, we're on course to revitalize the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company through a strategic partnership with the National Petroleum Authority, Ghana Gas, and the Ghana Commercial Bank. This will boost production, ensure a steady supply of safe LPG cylinders, and strengthen local manufacturing. Mr. Speaker, I'm also pleased to announce to you that Tema Oil Refinery is back. The new management of the refinery has successfully completed extensive turnaround maintenance. And I'm pleased to inform you that this August House that for the first time since 2018, the refinery has commenced processing of crude oil into petroleum products again. So, Mr. Speaker, let me assure our countrymen and women that the energy sector reforms continue unabated. I remain fully committed to turning around the sector, strengthening its foundations, and ensuring reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy security for our nation.